These terrorists have one goal in mind. It's to slaughter as many civilians as possible.
We turn now to Israel's war on Hamas. Attacks ramping up in Israel and Gaza today after an unprecedented attack by Hamas over the weekend on the 50th anniversary of the Yom Kippur War. Israeli officials say at least 600 people there have been killed, including at least 9 Americans. And in Gaza, authorities say more than 500 are dead. Thousands more injured and dozens of Israelis taken hostage. ABC's Inez Delicatera is there.
Israeli attacks on Gaza are ramping up. This refugee camp devastated after Israeli rockets targeted the area. And Palestinians in the community seen overcome with emotion after a mosque in Gaza was destroyed by an Israeli strike. Israel's defense forces saying they've struck over 500 Hamas and Islamic Jihad terrorist targets in the Gaza Strip. Israel declaring war on Hamas after the militant group carried out an unprecedented assault by land, sea, and air.
These terrorists have one goal in mind. It's to slaughter as many civilians as possible.
More than 2,200 rockets launched on southern and central cities in Israel on Saturday. Air raid sirens also blaring. At an Israeli music festival in Negev, rescue workers say 260 bodies were removed from the desert after a Hamas attack. Hundreds killed in both Israel and Gaza, and thousands more injured. The U.S. State Department saying at least 9 Americans have been killed in Israel, including 32-year-old Hayim Katzman.
We thought at one point that he had been taken hostage, but it turned out I didn't get official information about exactly what happened. His body was found in his apartment. We understand that he and his neighbor were hiding in a closet, and they found them, and the neighbor was released, a woman, and he was shot immediately.
The Israeli government saying dozens who weren't killed were taken back to Gaza as hostages. Yoni Asher's wife and children, whom he says are seen here in this video, were kidnapped.
I recognized them immediately, and I saw the video twice. In the second time, I couldn't watch anymore because I melted down. I couldn't believe this is happening to me. It was a nightmare.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu warns this could be a long and difficult war. And Israel's defense minister now saying the IDF is laying siege to Gaza, cutting off all food, fuel, and electricity supplies to the region. Inez Delicatera, ABC News, Tel Aviv, Israel.
And that attack on Israel has thrust the United States into a Middle East crisis that risks expanding into a broader conflict throughout the region. President Joe Biden promising unflinching support for Israel and has deployed a U.S. aircraft carrier group to the eastern Mediterranean and rushing arms to the Israeli military to deter other actors from attacking. His administration is also working on brokering relations between Israel and Saudi Arabia. Such a deal has the potential to reshape this region and boost Israel's standing in the Arab and Muslim world in historic ways.
Let me say this as clearly as I can. This is not a moment for any party hostile to Israel to exploit these attacks to seek advantage.
Now, this was a massive failure of Israeli intelligence, but several Republicans in Congress and those seeking to become the party's nominee for president have blamed Biden and the Iran deal that he brokered to free American prisoners in exchange for freeing up to $6 billion Iran can now use for humanitarian aid. The turmoil in the House of Representatives, which has been without a speaker for nearly a week, also believed to be hamstringing America's ability to provide aid in Israel. Until a speaker is elected, no legislation can be passed. We've also learned a group of Nelson County residents stranded in Israel on a Holy Land tour is out of harm's way and on their way home. Both the Bardstown mayor and Senator Jimmy Higdon took to Facebook this morning, ensuring their safe and timely return. Senator Higdon saying the group is expected back in the United States on Wednesday. ABC's David Muir will be live in Israel for another in-depth look at things unfolding there. You can watch his coverage on World News Tonight at 6:30 this evening. Another news here locally, Baxter Avenue Bar in the Highlands is under investigation because of this brawl that spilled into the streets leading to an overnight shooting. Take a look. This was video taken early Sunday morning. One man was shot in the chaos. A woman who witnessed that fight got the whole thing on video. Our Connor Steffen and photojournalist Aspen Hester share Baxter's response.
When this fight broke out on the patio of Baxter's early Sunday morning.
At one point in time, you would think like it calmed down, but it would just getting worse and worse.
All Daria Vega could think to do was grab her phone and start recording.
But it was like really a snowball effect. I'm not sure why it started.
Vega says the scuffle grew larger by the minute.
But it was just kind of like a shock in the moment as well.
By her count, at one point, the crowd involved grew to about 40 to 50 people. Baxter says the fight started around 1:30 in the morning between two bar patrons, with security quickly stepping in to respond. In a statement, it said in part, quote, "A domino effect occurred which involved out-of-town and largely unknown patrons attacking our security team and outnumbering them." An LMPD spokesperson says by 3 Sunday morning, an overspill of that crowd continued to fight, which you can see in this video with another view from social media, before someone fired off shots on Baxter Avenue, leaving one man injured. At this time, Louisville Alcoholic Beverage Control is investigating what it's calling a serious incident. A video some say is a window into ongoing issues facing Louisville's nightlife.
I feel like it's a responsibility on us as adults in the community to keep each other safe, you know.
Baxter said in its statement that regulars came to the aid of security and helped push the aggressors off its property, saying they want customers to treat its bar in the nearby area with respect and kindness. Connor Steffen, WHAS11, on your side.
In a statement sent to us, the councilman for this area, Ben Reno Weber, said the epidemic of violence in our city demands an immediate response, but it also demands a long-term investment in the root causes of violence that goes beyond just lip service. Right now, another court hearing for Jamarcus Glover, a key figure in the Breonna Taylor case. He was expected in court last week on drug trafficking charges, but did not show. And now the Commonwealth's attorneys moved to revoke his probation. Glover was serving a 5-year probation in connection to a separate drug trafficking charge from 2020. He was arrested the night Breonna Taylor was killed, and investigators say he was the original target of that deadly police raid. Then last month, St. Matthews police arrested him, accused of using minors to help transport and sell drugs like heroin and fentanyl. Glover posted the $20,000 bond and was released after he failed to appear in court last Wednesday. A warrant was issued for his arrest. $16 million are on the way to the University of Louisville in an effort to help increase Kentuckians' access to health care. It's geared toward underserved rural and urban areas. U of L School of Medicine will use the funds to train more primary care physicians and encourage them to practice in these areas. It'll also provide scholarships to support students financially in all of those programs.
Also reaching out to all of our clinical partners across the city, because this is everyone's need, to locate preceptors and clinical sites for our students to go out and actually work in these communities where they're needed.
Kentucky has a severe shortage of healthcare providers, with at least some portion of 113 out of the state's 120 counties designated as health professional shortage areas, including parts of Jefferson County. Today, the Environmental Protection Agency will begin preparations to demolish that Highview home filled with dangerous chemicals. Demolition equipment arrived at that house on Applegate Lane yesterday. The EPA has hired a contractor to do the job. Since it won't be a controlled burn as originally intended, crews will instead remove the walls and roof first, followed by contents inside piece by piece. The official demolition is scheduled to begin next Monday, October 16th. And tomorrow is the last day you can register to vote for the upcoming election. Exactly 1 month from tomorrow is the highly anticipated race for governor. Last month, voter registration across Kentucky surged with more than 8,600 new registered voters. Now, some important dates to keep in mind of. Again, you know, tomorrow is the last day to register to vote. Then on October 24th, it's the last day to submit a request for an absentee ballot. No excuse early voting begins on November 2nd. And the general election is on Tuesday, November 7th.